Welcome in another episode of American Soccer Being Weird here on Morning Kick Around. And there was once a league called NISA, and then there wasn't, and then there was again, and then there wasn't again. And then now, just this week, branding revealed for a new iteration of NISA right there on the screen. That came out up there, and this is one more kind of breadcrumb in the slow burning reveal of the National Independent Soccer Association returning. And what was originally created in 2017 by Peter Wilt and Jack Cummins to create a independent soccer, I think second or third division to feed into the NASL, which was still alive at that point, to be almost like a feeder league in a pro rel system with the NASL. But there's been turbulent times over the years. Kind of one of the biggest before they even hit the ground running. The originators, unfortunately, Peter Wilt's partner Jack Cummins suddenly passed away, and then Peter shortly thereafter moved on to Forward Madison and Chicago House. And so the originators, the concept of it, short-lived, but it eventually hit the field in 2019, and there's been some comings and goings of teams in this league. So I'll just kind of put up the kind of the timeline of the various teams that have come and gone from this league, and credit to the Wikipedians who have put this all together. Back in 2019, there was a handful of teams: Stumptown, San Diego 1904, Philadelphia Fury, Oakland Roots, Miami. So some of those teams have come and gone. Some of them, I don't even know if they made it through that first year. Detroit City FC, of course, spent a couple successful teams there. What do you remember of your actually, before we get to that, I talked about, so there's the new unveiling of this new look for the NISA logo, and we've had it told that there's going to be a new commissioner come on board next week, and then in the fall they're going to have a small tournament, and then they intend to they're planning to return to a full league schedule in 2026. So we'll kind of see what happens there, because as you can see, over the years the league shrunk and changed different forms, and it's taken on multiple different formats, and we shall see if it comes. A lot of folks weren't quite sure that they were ever coming back around, but as it stands, they plan to come back in fall. But I posed the question a moment ago. Detroit City FC, they were originally going to go to NASL. NASL folds, and they find their way in NISA back in 2020, mid-COVID. I think they played one game in NISA before the lockdown, I think.
Yeah, weird times. I remember the championship match at Keyworth. DCFC came away with that victory. I actually have a medal for working for the club at that time. So vivid memories of that. But I think, that would probably be the highlight. It's been stop and start. It's been choppy, to be sure. It's hard to keep up with all the comings and goings. I'm very thankful for this graphic to kind of keep things organized. Shout out to the Wikipedians for sure. But yeah, you've seen like there is some name recognition in these clubs, but you just see kind of the turnover, and a lot of these clubs have gone on elsewhere and experienced more success. So it's hard to not kind of pin it on misorganization and just some weird decision making by NISA. I will say I like the new logo. I think it fits, right? It looks like the American flag, and we'll hopefully see kind of a new leaf for NISA to kind of change things up. And we'll see if this new brand identity really brings any tangible changes. You mentioned the difficulties getting things off the ground, and yeah, when you're two founding members kind of quickly are no longer involved, that can certainly bring complications, because you wonder how much they passed along to those who were working underneath them. And then those were the folks who actually kind of launched the thing. So I don't know. I'm hopeful, but not confident, I would say.
So the chat, the MK Ultras, kind of throwing some remember whens. So the peak of NISA was probably 2020 to 2022 or so. And there was a few notable moments there. So just to kind of touch on them without diving too deep, who remembers the weird hostage video with the NISA president? I remember people questioning whether that was real or AI, and that was pre-big time AI, and NISA's still dead, no sanctioning yet. Yeah, the Lawrence Gerard pizza party. So probably one of the main themes of why there is the segment of American soccer being weird probably circles around this incident. We could probably have a segment unto its own right to kind of study the cultural and sporting implications of that night on Twitter. I don't know if there's a unifying moment like that where someone just like having a totally bizarre evening and goes off the deep end on Twitter. Would that even have the same impact now? Are enough people on one social media platform to have a moment like the Gerard pizza party?
That's true. Yeah, when you put it that way, it was kind of a moment in time, and not sure that it can be replicated. But I would say you're when we talk about American soccer being weird, nothing exemplifies, nothing embodies that more so than the NISA history and the story of its arc, if you will. I don't even know if you could call it an arc, just with all the ebbs and flows and ups and downs, but we see it happening in the chat right now. Like, it certainly provided some memorable moments and some entertainment, maybe more so off the pitch than on. But hey, again, I do, all jokes aside, I do want to applaud folks who are sincerely, genuinely trying to improve the state of soccer at a very grassroots level in this country, because I think that's an important, shouldn't be swept aside. We need to at least acknowledge that there are people with genuine intentions who are trying to better the game here in the States. And even if they've not made the best decisions at times, and some of the people who have been involved, we can maybe question, not morality, but again, I think just decision making as a whole. It's been a jumbled mess, to be sure. But again, I would like to also acknowledge there are people that are sincerely trying to improve the game here. And if they can figure it out, it's going to only help things at a higher level as well. And we'll see some of these players kind of jumping up the levels. But that's where you get into, is it in their best interest? There's a lot involved here.
Yeah, the league, obviously, the founders stepping away early. You can't forget the brief period of NPSL Pro that was just before NISA that came and went very quickly because of, I think, some sort of a broader insurance issue. And then someone in the chat talked about immigration issues for the league. Yeah, NISA couldn't secure like the P1 or whatever the top visas are where you can bring a professional player in. Obviously, with current admin, who knows what visa statuses are like now, but they did have a lot of admin issues along the way, and that some things led to people not getting paid and issues like that. But there were some great moments, and yeah, it was called the Members Cup. That was some glorious days. And DCFC dominant. They were an absolute unit in that league. They went nearly undefeated. I remember that some of those playoff runs that they had in there were really entertaining. And then when the NISA final was, I think it's LA Force versus Detroit in Hamtramck, was a pretty entertaining affair. I think that was pretty lopsided, but we will have more first hand accounts next week, and it looks like we're going to have the new commissioner on the show next Wednesday to kind of talk about this new iteration of NISA and to just for a little bit of official reporting sake, I'll come from the press release that came earlier this week. NISA Pro Cup is planning to play in October. NISA has a handful of teams to experience that. And then in the fall, they intend to do that. But this logo, prominent representation of the league, people, and brand, new label is sturdy, stable, and smart. That's interesting. They put that in the press release of the description is sturdy, stable, and smart is how you didn't exactly describe the league processes as those things in the previous iteration. So apparently this logo's trying to bring in sturdiness, stability, and smart, and bringing in the old tradition with the new. And the borders open at the corners to represent the open system, signifying progression of leagues and clubs. The 3 red bars represent the third tier, NISA's established place in U.S. soccer. So with that in mind, potentially if this all falls through or works and happens and becomes a reality, and then the USL Pro rel in the first division. So if all these leagues are playing and remain stable, there will be 2 first divisions in America and 2 third divisions in American soccer. So just what we what the doctor ordered, and a perfect topic for the segment here we call American Soccer is Weird. So we will get more updates as they come on that. If you've tuned into this and you're not subscribed, do so now. Why the heck not? Doesn't cost you a darn thing. And we're on our way to 3,000. So that's an exciting number there. You can support with a couple casholas. $3.99 a month gets you a membership, an MK Ultra membership. And there you will have priority commenting on these live videos. You will have access to the Discord server. There's great conversations happening there from local summer league soccer conversations. Speaking of which, I think we're planning on having some Fort Wayne guests next week as well. They're making the jump from amateur to pro here shortly. And then, just MK Ultras, priority commenting on the show. You get access to the Discord server, and then you can also support on ko-fi.com/morningkickaround, where we have specific fundraiser goals there, including travel expenses to do a show together with myself, Jason Davis, on location somewhere exciting in American soccer. And you can find us on social media at mkickaround on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky, and find us as a podcast on your favorite audio platform.